You've been watching hours of plant YouTube videos, tips, tricks. Finally, you get your first plant, you get a bigger pot, you're ready to switch out the soil, and 2 weeks later, your plant looks like this. 90% of your success taking care of plants is just dependent on one thing. It doesn't matter how much fertilizer, special products, or secret tricks that you know. If your plant has been living in low light conditions, any small change, including repotting your plant, is just going to accelerate that dying process. If you don't have this one tool, your success is just going to be based off of pure luck or guesswork. Let me show you how to take a light reading. Get out your phone, open up your app store, and download a light meter. If you're on Android, try an app called Lux Light Meter Pro by Doggo Apps. If you're on iPhone, download Light Meter LM3000 by Lightray Innovation. These are the most accurate free-ish apps that I found on iOS and Android. On Android, Lux Light Meter Pro works immediately and seems to be free forever. On iOS, Light Meter LM3000 will ask you to use a homemade diffuser, which is just to keep a standard piece of printer paper over your front sensor to get a more accurate reading. This app seems to maybe have a free 2-month trial before it asks you to pay $10. You really should buy yourself a simple standalone light meter, and they cost around $25 to $35 at the lowest on Amazon. Phone light meter apps, while inexpensive or free, will never be as accurate as a standalone light meter device. Every time your phone updates or you get a different phone, there's always potential for the app just to stop working completely. They can get less accurate over time, and in some cases, if support for that app stops, it will stop working entirely. Now that you have your light meter, you know exactly how much light you're getting in your individual space. No more talking about bright indirect light. No more talking about how your plant needs to see the sky. No more pictures like this, which are cute but don't actually give you any concrete information. No more asking which window is better. A light meter will tell you everything you need to know because big number big, small number small. You've probably heard some people suggesting that certain windows are the very best locations for your plant. Like if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, south-facing windows are the gold standard, very best place that you can put your plants for the most light. And north-facing windows are garbage windows, and you need to move your plants from there immediately. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but while these south-facing windows might provide more light overall, you really need to think about what's outside blocking the way. I do not care which window your plant is in. I do care what the number on your light meter says. Despite how incredible the human eye is, we can't really differentiate differences in light unless the sun is blasting through your window, right into your eyes at 10 a.m. or the sun is about to set. Once the sun stops shining directly through my south-facing condo windows, my home looks pretty consistently bright for 6 to 7 hours until pretty much sundown. But with light readings from a light meter, I know that that's completely untrue. What about this southwest window? Or this northeast window? One window obstructed by a giant maple tree 10 to 15 feet away. And this window mostly unobstructed at solar noon with the sun as high as possible in the sky. It's about 1 foot away from the window at 62, 60 FC. So this reading is 115 FC. Regardless of the reading that you take at one point throughout the day, you can always get more accurate. Multiple readings throughout the day at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. should give you a much better idea of which spot in your home is truly the best, what has the most light overall. With those readings throughout the day, we get a much better picture. Now, I'm absolutely not saying that every plant should be on your windowsill, but when you understand the difference from the light on your living room table versus right next to the window, that can really help temper your expectations so that you know what kind of growth you will expect. One of the most frustrating tips that I've ever heard is to make sure that your plants can see the sky. What exactly does that mean? Because I can see the sky. I can still see the sky. I can see it still. See the sky. Can still see it, actually. Can see it over there. I can still see it. I can still see the sky. It doesn't really matter if your plants can see the sky or not, because the farther you get away from your light source, the less light that your plant is going to receive. So now that you're closer to your light source, right up against your window, you can see how much more light your plant will be getting. Now that you know how to take your light reading and you understand that different locations in your home can have vastly different numbers, how much light are you actually looking for? While every plant is different, you should be looking for above 400 foot candles of light for an average of 12 hours a day for good growth. Just like many animals have a minimum calorie intake per day, plants have that, but for light. Otherwise, over time, they'll starve. The minimum limit for many plants is around 100 to 50 foot candles of light. Many plants living below that threshold will eventually reach a point where their leaves just start to drop and you finally see them dying. This can often happen after some kind of traumatic event like repotting the plant or using fertilizer for the first time. A general rule is we only upsize healthy plants and we only fertilize healthy plants. We want higher light levels for at least 12 hours a day because plants want to target what's called their daily light integral. And with more light or more time in the day, it gets easier to hit that daily target. When you're using your light meter, there are two forms of measurement: foot candles and lux. Foot candles measures light over a square footage and lux measures light over a square meter. 1 foot candle is equal to 10.764 lux. I highly suggest taking your measurements in foot candles because the measurements are much easier for our brains to benchmark. 10,000 foot candles is your plant outdoors in an open field on a sunny day. 5,000 foot candles is the golden number for most succulents and cactus. 2,500 foot candles is the golden number for most monstera and philodendron. 1,000 foot candles will give you amazing success. 500 foot candles will give you great success. And 100 foot candles is the baseline for survival. And all those numbers in lux look like this. See? Not good. Confusing. But whatever you do, don't just move your plant into the brightest spot in your home immediately. Using a light meter is the perfect way to avoid sunburning your plant. Once you have a better understanding of the differences in light levels in your home, you'll know that taking a 100 foot candle plant and putting it in a 2,500 foot candle spot is likely going to result in sunburn. Try to move your plant slowly into more light by 500 to 1,000 foot candle increments. Monitor for leaf damage and then slowly increase your lighting as the plant gets adjusted over time. So what does your plants being in low light for extended periods actually mean? On the Kill This Plant Discord, Zoe messaged us saying that some of their work plants were dying, and they wanted to take over the plant's care and hopefully bring them back to life. Big problem though. I asked Zoe to take a light reading for me and the light came back as 27 foot candles, way below the threshold for survival. The plants looked like this and they were clearly dying. And because it's a workplace with not a lot of freedom to move plants around, the best Zoe could do was find a spot that had 185 foot candles. Really wanting the plants to do well, Zoe wanted to start repotting. I encouraged Zoe not to repot everything all at once. I really did not think that disturbing the roots when the plants had been in such low light conditions, actively dying for months, was the best choice for them. The plants just need more light for their survival and recovery first. I told Zoe to only repot one plant as a test, and unfortunately, as I thought, the plant continued to decline. Most houseplants in malls or workplaces that grow in extremely low light conditions just slowly die off for about 6 months and then the plants just get replaced. A lot of places just know this and they budget for it. Get your light meters and manage the expectations based on the amount of light that you're actually getting in your home. Stop repotting low light plants and do what you can to gradually increase your light levels.